Hi everyone, I'm Nick. Today I'll be talking to you a little bit about my topic that I'll be working on for my research project. You can see here on the screen, my topic is incorporating social media and other interactive programs into the classroom. And the question I'll be asking is, can student performance and interaction in the classroom improve as a result of incorporating these tools into everyday instruction? So the reason why I chose this topic was because I'm an 8th grade social studies teacher, and I find that when I share video clips or interesting articles or links to various websites or programs that kids can access from either inside the classroom on things such as iPads or when we're in the computer lab, to things that they could access from home as well, I find that the kids are really much more engaged the following day, always referring back to some of these various forms of multimedia or technology that I'm using as a resource for my lesson. And I thought to myself, I said, what are some ways I can get my information or my lessons across to students when they're not in the classroom? How can I get them thinking about the topic when they're at home or in a long car ride on their way, on a family vacation? Just how can I get them to engage more in my material in a non-forceful way and in a way that they themselves would enjoy. So I think that, two of the most popular social media programs that kids are using nowadays, and really everyone is using, is Twitter and Instagram. You can see right down here, those are two of the programs that I want to focus on here in my research. I also have VoiceThread in here. I was intrigued by it when we learned about it in this class, and I really enjoyed it, and I see how kids could really use this program to help them with class presentations, projects, and things of that nature. However, I might be cutting VoiceThread out of my research. I'm finding that there's a ton of information on Twitter in terms of educational journals reporting about it, interviews with teachers. There's so many videos, a couple of which I'll show you in this presentation. And then Instagram. I really like Instagram from a personal use perspective, and I think it could really be beneficial for my social studies classroom with my kids, sharing pictures of things that pertain to discussions that we're having in class, and then being able to share pictures of things that appear in their everyday life that we could somehow connect back to history or whatever it is that we're learning. So before I get ahead of myself too much, I'll give a general introduction to my research in whatever way I decide to present it. I'm still deciding on that. I'll discuss the pros and cons of technology in the classroom. Obviously, there are many of those. I'll definitely touch on the most popular ones. I just talked about Section 3 here. I'll also look at those who have used these programs and whether or not they're finding them to be successful. I'll talk to fellow teachers who have some experience with this, and I'll also use interviews from journals and articles to gain a better perspective for Section 4 here. And lastly, I'll talk about the students' opinions about how they enjoy using Twitter, Instagram, other types of forms of social media or interactive programs, if they really do feel like it is contributing to their education in a positive way, what they would like to see moving forward, what they would like to see less of moving forward. I've already incorporated the Polls Everywhere program a couple of times, including in a Socratic seminar discussion yesterday when we were discussing Carnegie and Rockefeller, and there were some pretty interesting, thought-provoking, debatable topics like, do we consider these guys to be robber barons or captains of industry? And I used this Polls Everywhere program that I learned about in this class to gain perspective before the lesson in terms of what the kids were thinking, and then to gain perspective at the end to see if their opinions had changed. And they really did enjoy this. So I'll probably use Polls Everywhere to ask them more questions about this type of research that I'm doing, and see if I can gain an insight into what they're thinking. So one of the reasons why I chose this topic, social media and interactive programs in the educational setting, was because I have experience working with some of them, in particular Twitter. I posted this last week, I believe, in week 6 of our discussion. This is an old account that I had when I was working at a school, at Massapequa High School a few years ago. and I decided kind of spur of the moment at the beginning of the year to create a Twitter account for the class. And I mean, I only had 30 followers out of my, I guess, 120 students that chose to actually follow me on a regular basis. And this is some of the things that they had access to. I didn't make it mandatory. I just said, hey guys, if you have a Twitter account and you want to follow the class, Miss Whitten and I, she was my co-teacher, feel free. These are just some pictures from the end of the year, just trying to capture some of the memories that we had throughout the year. Had some really great groups. But then if we scroll down here, for example, I was able to kind of capture a moment where we had a video conference with the museum, and our students were learning about body modifications and what different cultures do to their bodies and what they symbolize in terms of piercings and tattoos. So that was pretty cool. I also just throw up, random facts of information like this one. We spent a lot of time talking about Egypt, and I came across this article here that I was able to share with the kids. How many of them actually looked at it, I'm not sure, but it was up there. Couldn't help myself. Anytime I could get history to really come alive or presented in a way that the students can connect to their everyday lives, I'll always take advantage of that. General announcements such as this one in terms of what we were doing on a regular basis. I would post links to my website where students could work on practice quizzes, access any types of documents or PowerPoints or handouts that we did that day in class. So I had a lot of really good experiences with Twitter in the classroom, and the kids seemed to really enjoy it. So this is really what kind of motivated me to choose Twitter as one of my focusing points. So some of the sources that I'll be looking at to help me guide my research are articles published from the National Education Association talking about how media and interactive programs such as Twitter and Instagram are used in the classroom. I just have a couple of different articles here, some of the many that I'll be looking at. They offer some really good questions that they pose to teachers, and they also offer some really great feedback from teachers and students in terms of how they're assessing the use of Twitter in the classroom and whether or not it's being successful. I'll also be looking at videos like this to really help guide maybe some of my discussion points and topics that I want to discuss in the research. This is just a little interview with Jack Dorsey. He's the CEO and founder of Twitter, and it's an interview with him about how he sees Twitter evolving, most specifically in the educational world. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds of a preview of this video.
So when I first started developing Twitter, I really wasn't thinking about the usages beyond just keeping in constant connection with my friends. So I think it's important when you first start something out that you have a focus like that. You have something that you really want to see in the world, you really would love to see, because that really drives the work. But now people are using it in ways we had no idea they'd be using it for,
and right there, what Jack Dorsey's talking about is Twitter's influx into the educational sphere. Obviously, it's the focus of my research here. So this is a nice little video that I'll use to help kind of gain a perspective on how Twitter has evolved and how it's getting connected into the classroom. Here's a little article, or it's more of a blog post that I found about how to incorporate Instagram in the classroom. I'm having a harder time finding, I guess, literature on Instagram, maybe because it hasn't been around for as long as Twitter has, and literature on how it's used in the classroom and studies that have been done. But this website, or this blog in particular, it's by a teacher named John Spencer. He talks a little bit about how he incorporates Instagram into his classrooms, or how he's planning on doing so. And they're just some really, he's just offering 10 really good ideas here on how, a lot of different subject areas can incorporate Instagram in their class, with having a class account, and also obviously students having their own accounts. his are tailored more toward English and social studies. So I'm getting some really great ideas here, ones that I plan on using moving forward. I actually want to approach my principal about using these two, Twitter and Instagram, in my classroom. I just have to make sure it aligns with all of the district's policies and things of that nature. But I thought, let me do the research first. Let me put this whole project together so that I have some type of concrete material to go to him with, to support some of my ideas and claims. More scholarly articles, all right, more about how to use social media in the classroom, ideas of what not to do. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and we kind of give students the benefit of the doubt, and we're a little too trusting sometimes, and a lot of bad things can result from that. So there's a couple of, rules to follow, unwritten rules to follow when using a program like Twitter or Instagram, from really the teacher's perspective, or the teacher standpoint, but obviously this can apply to students as well. I'm having a hard time opening up the articles that I found through the Stony Brook Library. I'm on my school's network right now, and for some reason I'm having a hard time logging in to show you some of the journals that I'll be looking at. But resources 7 through 13 here are all scholarly journals that have been published, that the library has, that I'll be using to really gain a good insight into this topic. They're published by respectable institutions, and I plan on really looking at this for proven research, the perspective from professionals from all over the country and the world. So I know I've kind of taken up a lot of time here. It's amazing how quick time flies, and I actually started this and I was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to fill up 5 minutes talking about my paper, and here I am just pushing over 12. So if you stayed with me the whole time, I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing everyone else's presentations, and I will talk to you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me any comments or questions on the discussion board. All right, guys, have a good day.